UCLA 95, Illinois 94, a 1 point overtime buzzer beating victory for the Bruins. This is a game that Illinois led by 23 points in 9 minutes into this game. Really a baffling result, really a frustrating final 30 minutes, 35 minutes into overtime, and a lot to talk about here as I don't know. These blown leads are starting to become a trend for the best offense in the history of college basketball. Cart's back from vacation. Good to have him here. Hello. How are you?
Doing great. How you doing?
Doing great. Illini Nation is excited to see you, I'm sure. This video is brought to you from Tinker, tinkercoffee.com. Promo code Sleepers get 15% off your first order. Cart, did you bring any Tinker with you to Florida last week?
I actually brought the instant coffee with me. It was perfect for it. Didn't have the means to do the whole like grinding beans up thing at the location I was at. So yeah, just brought the instant coffee. Worked out great. Made it iced. It was perfect as the palm trees and the sun were in the background.
Nice little packets you can bring anywhere with you. Hopefully, Illinois brought some home with them from the West Coast. I know they brought their Tinker out there in the first place, but make sure you get some promo code Sleepers 15% off. We got some more plans with Tinker coming in March that we will announce soon. Stay tuned. Also, I think we talked about this briefly in the preview, but we're partnering with Stakeholders. Stakeholders is basically a college basketball stock market, and our whole team got set up with accounts last week and we all immediately went to buy Illinois stock because they were like the most undervalued in the entire exchange, and then they just lost to UCLA. So now it's got me questioning everything at this point. I still think it's a good time to buy low on Illinois with Stakeholder. Check it out for yourself if you're interested. I digress. To the recap we go. Okay. Feel like we gotta start with this. What the hell changed from 33 to 10 with 9 minutes left in the first half? UCLA then went on a 33 to 22 run and was within striking distance, right? Only down 7 at halftime when Illinois scores 50 in the first
Mhm.
half. With all due respect to UCLA, they shouldn't be in a game at halftime if Illinois scores 50, and they were because they scored 33 points in the final 10 minutes of the first half. What changed?
Mm. Well, I think the to keep it simple before we dive into maybe some more nuanced things here, Illinois is the number one offense on KenPom. They didn't look like the number one offense after that first half necessarily, maybe a little bit close to that. They certainly look like the 30th best defense in the country, maybe worse though. And as I was watching it, it was a bit of a collapse of certain portions, but a lot of it seemed like it was just missed shots from Illinois that were going in for a large part of the game. And I guess you give credit to a UCLA offense that has struggled mightily during this year and during this season. They are, I think, barely inside the top 50 for offense, but they are, they definitely show what they can do defensively. They're not that great defensively either as well, but I don't know. I was just as I was watching it, I was just genuinely confused on Illinois' lack of shot making that was so good in the first half, but just did not show up in the second half. And UCLA was able to make buckets on the other end.
So, in your mind, interpretation wise, this was an Illinois offense problem in the second half that led to this result?
I mean, obviously, I think defense is the main takeaway. Anytime you give up 90 points to UCLA, you're doing something wrong, even in an overtime setting. Giving up that many points to UCLA seems like you're doing something wrong, given how they execute offensively. But at the same time, you expect the number one offense to not blow leads. Like I don't know how you blow a 23-point lead if you're that efficient and that effective offensively.
Yeah, I'm not saying you're wrong because 36 points in the second half was a bad result, and 31% from three as a team is not nearly as good as Illinois can shoot. They still finished 1.3 points per possession, and they were blistering out the gates, right? 30 points in like the first 10 minutes. So I don't know. I feel like you're right that this team wants to win from their offense. So any given result where they lose, you can kind of point to the offense going cold at a certain point is probably the surprising portion of the game. But to me, much like where the season goes from here for Illinois, it comes down to defense. And giving up 33 points to UCLA in a 10-minute stretch of a game is like unacceptably bad to me. Donovan Dent had 15 assists to 0 turnovers. Every guy in UCLA's top 6 was in double figures in this game. I mean, they started small. Mick Cronin brought Booker off the bench in this game. They did the 3 guards plus Daly and Bilodeau. And I think that says something about how he views the Illinois front court also, right? Like, this is not normal. Normally, UCLA likes to start some sort of front court player. And they didn't do that in this game. It didn't necessarily work off the gates, but Booker was really good. Booker finished with 16 and 4 off the bench and only missed 1 shot. Had 5 makes, 5 for 5 from inside the arc. Xavier Booker. So, like, that just tells me, to me, something's not working here. And I have thoughts and some numbers behind it, but I don't know. I feel like it's interesting. We can both be on opposite sides of this. You're like, yeah, that offense was frustrating in the second half. I'm like, that defense was a disgrace the entire game down to the final
Yeah.
play.
Isn't that defense what they are though? Maybe not
uh,
that bad. Maybe not that bad, but like they have shown that they could check like this at certain points.
it's gotten worse, and you're always vulnerable to this when you play the style of defense they play. But man, 1.3 points per possession on the road should be enough to win a game
Yeah.
against UCLA. Like, this is not UCLA is not some like powerhouse offense.
No.
I've
They're
never seen
bad.
the UCLA offense play that good.
Yeah, they're not that they're really not that good. I mean, they make almost as many threes as you, 50% from the field, like you stated too, for a team that doesn't, they don't have any like massively just dominant front court player. UCLA was just able to kind of get to the basket at will here. It's not like they bombed threes or anything like that. They made 11, which is a good amount for them. Pretty good volume for them too, 28 3-point attempts. But uh, yeah, I feel like they were just able to kind of get whatever they wanted.
Yeah. Yeah, it was just strange. Dent was a big part of it. We should probably do the UCLA stuff first. But back to my question, what changed? Keaton Wagler also went down. That felt like a turning point. I forget what the exact lead was when Wagler was taken to the locker room holding his shoulder. Um,
Hmm.
but it was double digits. I think it was like at least a 15-point lead at that point. And look, he played 39 minutes in a 45-minute basketball game. So I don't even want to be the guy coming on here and say it was the Wagler injury that changed everything. He played 39 minutes of a 45-minute basketball game. He came back and played the entire second half and all of overtime. But in terms of a momentum swing, I think UCLA felt pretty hopeless, down 28 to 10. And then all of a sudden, Wagler disappears for 5 minutes. And in that 5 minutes, it looked like they sort of locked in and were like, wait a second, Wagler's out. Am I
Hmm.
overreading that a little bit, or do you think that was the story of part of the turnaround of this game?
No, I definitely think it played a portion of it. And, I think that even though Keaton, if you look at kind of his shooting percentages and stretch that he's kind of been on right now, I do think that there is a little bit of a freshman wall situation coming in here. But also in this game, I think you could maybe chalk it up to the fact that he was still feeling the effects of whatever kind of banged up he was in this basketball game. Because he, like I said, another really tough shooting performance from him, both from 3-point range and the field.
Yeah, good to see he's fine. When he went down, I feared the worst. What were you thinking in that moment?
Well, this was also coming off the heels of the fact that I just saw, like, I just lost Richie Saunders. I just lost JT Toppin.
Yeah,
I was like, how much more can I take? And I thought that the higher power was doing something to me, but luckily he was okay. Still
yeah,
played 39 minutes in this basketball game, like I said. So,
yeah. Caleb Wilson too last week. Yeah, it was like a flurry of really
shit, I
gutting
forgot. Yeah, I forgot.
injuries. And
Yeah, Caleb too. Yeah.
yeah, good on Keaton that he returned. This was not Keaton at his best. We'll talk more about it, but I don't know. I just want to make sure I make that clear when I'm like, what changed? Well, the 6 minute stretch where Wagler was out in the locker room and everyone's fearing the worst was a pretty notable moment. Even if he was just like on the bench and not in the locker room, I wonder how different that psychologically would have been for Illinois. It kind of felt like they were playing those minutes from a sense of like, oh my God, is our season over?
Yeah, it did kind of feel the vibes were definitely down, and which you would expect too. Like you see your star freshman go down, you probably are thinking the worst, especially as an Illinois team, Illinois player.
Yeah. But that doesn't excuse what happened after he returned because theoretically they still had, like, I want to say a 9 point lead when he returned. And
Yeah.
theoretically, that should have been a huge emotional boost that he's back. So, no excuse for Illinois to lose this game even after that. But I do wonder if Keaton never runs to the locker room, do they just run away with this? Does it go from 33 to 10 to like a 30-point victory without that huge emotional swing? Maybe not. It's a pretty big what if,
Maybe,
but
yeah, it's a pretty big what if. But also, like I think that some of the other things that went on in this game, like Merck and Andre were pretty bad in this basketball game, which I think hurt Illinois a lot. And I don't know if necessarily Keaton getting injured or not would have done anything to help them defensively, which to your point, like as much as I'm over here like just do enough offensively to get across the finish line, you score 86 points in regulation, you would expect to win that basketball game against a UCLA team who has been struggling to score.
right. Yeah. Yeah, just strange. I don't know. I did the Action Network preview of this game, or it was on my best bet list. I guess sorry, Illinois fans, I cursed your team, but it wasn't just me. Like Mike Calabrese, who does the show with me, gave out Illinois minus 19.5 alt line as his best bet of the week. We were all
Ah,
over like this is a quit on Mick Cronin spot. And we were texting early when they're up 23 in the first half, like we nailed this. We scouted this perfectly. It's going exactly the way we thought it would. And then Wagler to the locker room did feel, at least to us, that it changed the entire motion of the game, gave UCLA some belief, really some reason not to quit, right? Because I think this UCLA team was primed for kind of mailing in the entire season, given the way Mick has been dogging them. And I guess credit to them for responding. We'll talk through that. But I wonder if that happens. If Wagler doesn't go to the locker room, does any of this emotional turn happen? It didn't look to me like it was going to. It looked like a UCLA team that was totally defeated, getting punked. And then all of a sudden, Wagler's out. Wait a second, let's go. We're not dead yet. And you look up, and here's this furious comeback. So let's do the UCLA side of it first. Donovan Dent, KenPom MVP. 42 minutes played, 14 points on 15 shots, 15 assists to 0 turnovers. I would have to check, but I'm assuming that's the first 15 assists, 0 turnover night that a point guard has had this year. I mean, I can't imagine anyone's done that. Even thinking through like Fears and Braden's big games, they at least had one turnover. He was basically perfect as a floor general. You would have thought more shots go in, maybe he gets an A plus plus game, but what made him so unstoppable here?
I think what made him so unstoppable is that I don't want to do this. Like there's a like Donovan Dent just was he was so comfortable in this basketball game. He was
Yeah.
just comfortable. Like and you find it hard not to you don't want to put it on one guy, but in a perfect ideal world, you're supposed to have Kylan Boswell, who is this ultimate defender, make things tough, be physical with guys. And maybe Dent was a little bit off pace from a shooting perspective, but from a just controlling the game wise, 15 assists to 0 turnovers. And I get it. I just think that, when you take a step back, this Illinois defense, the fact that they don't force turnovers sometimes, or they don't force turnovers at all, sometimes it just makes it susceptible to teams being able to get what they want and do what they want. And UCLA was just very comfortable this whole basketball game. They got whatever they wanted. They got whatever shots they wanted. Um, and they just kind of, knocked them down. I feel like Illinois wasn't able to use their length and athleticism or anything like that to really affect the game like they wanted to. And it's UCLA was kind of just running stuff on air, it felt like at times. They got whatever they wanted. It was very easy.
Yeah. I think there were a couple things that stood out to me a little bit here. For starters, um, Dent, he's so quick, and I thought his quickness was a mismatch for Illinois. Like that feels obvious looking back at it now, but I think even with Kylan being a quote unquote elite perimeter defender, Not sure he's earned that bill at this point. He doesn't like, I feel like quickness can beat him. Like, it's, to me, quickness is the problem with this Illinois personnel group. It's size, it's skill offensively, obviously, but I don't know. Quicker players at every position can kind of beat their guy with Illinois. And I don't know. Dent just did such a good job navigating the length, kind of getting into the paint and then kicking out. And the thing with this UCLA team, they are a great shooting team. They made 39% of their threes, made 11 of them in this game. On the year, they shoot 38% from three. That's 26 nationally. Like, if anything, the knock on UCLA is they don't shoot enough threes. If this team ever leaned into being a team that bombs from three, they have the personnel to be really good with it. So, in a lot of ways, like, the Illinois defensive scheme, I think, hurt them here. Illinois wants to dare you to shoot from three. That led to higher volume from three for UCLA than normal. And guys made them. Good shooters made them. I mean, you look at Bilodeau, Daly, Perry, Sky, and Xavier Booker all hit multiple threes in this game. All shot 40% or better from three. They're good at that, though. Like, that kind of played right into what they do well. The surprise to me in this game for sure was Dent's effectiveness getting into the paint, because I thought the scout, while good for the shooters, was a nightmare for Dent. This
Mm.
defense theoretically should have kept Dent out of the paint, turned him into a shooter over length. And I think you can tell, like, he went 5 for 15 from the floor, 0 for 2 from three. It did limit him as a scorer. They just had no answer for him beating his man and then kicking out to shooters. And credit to Dent for not forcing. He could have forced more shots himself in this game and really just kind of picked him apart.
Yeah, like I said, like anytime you see a guy be able to just operate the way he wants to, and even thinking back to some of the Illinois losses that have happened, I feel like it hasn't happened as much, right? Guys been able to just kind of go off and be comfortable. But even in the games that they were able to do that, like I would point back to the Purdue game. I thought Purdue was pretty comfortable in what they wanted to do offensively. Like maybe the shots were a little bit tougher than what Keaton Wagler was getting, but they still were able to get a lot of points in that basketball game. It was just down the stretch more shots were made by Illinois, and also they were able to get enough stops to kind of get them over the finish line, do what they want to do offensively. They just weren't able to get enough stops in this basketball game, and it was a lot of guys just being able to blow past their initial defender or get to where they wanted off a ball screen, and because there's no turnovers or no anything like that being forced, they were able to just kind of get what they want. It's one that, too, when you take a step back. Illinois loses a game that they out rebound UCLA, right? They didn't turn the ball over themselves. They actually moved the ball pretty well. 19 assists to 9 turnovers in this game. Did they not shoot the ball as well from 3 and 2 point range? Yeah, but you would think that even with those certain factors brought into this, they still should be able to get across the finish line and win this game.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it was right there. It was right there for the taking, no doubt. I guess it's just credit to Dent, man. And again, this could have been a better Dent game. It could have gone better than 5 for 15. But when a point guard goes 15 assists, 0 turnovers, at a certain point, you just got to call that a great game. Dent is one of the greatest point guards in America. Eric Daly said after, that's why you're here, when they told him he had 15 assists to 0 turnovers. So I don't know. He was one of the highest paid players in the portal for games like this. I don't think he's lived up to it for the majority of the season, but he has had a great month. Really, in February, Dent's turned into a legitimate dude. So good on him. And we'll see if it is enough to, I don't know, send UCLA somewhere and have a little March run that kind of makes us feel differently about this season. It's possible.
Yeah, like to your point though, you do got to give UCLA credit because when they were down, I'm like, okay, this is officially the moment. Like, I'm sick of Mick Cronin. I'm sick of him talking to us like this. This is it. Let's quit. And they did not whatsoever.
Yeah. Yep. Bilodeau starts at the 5. Mick shifts around the lineup. 18 points, 4 rebounds, 2 for 5 from 3. He was 6 for 11 from the floor and made 4 free throws. Bilodeau is just a really tough cover. Like, I think that's accepted across the board at this point for any matchup, any team, anytime. Like, you got to deal with Bilodeau. He can step out and bomb you from 3, and he's a great offensive big in this league. probably going to end up on an all-conference team, would be my guess. Feels like maybe like a third team All Big Ten guy. I could be wrong on that, but did you like Mick's move to start him at the 5 in this game? Did you notice anything unique about Bilodeau's performance in this game versus just that's who he is?
I just think it provides a difficult level check when he is at the 5. And I thought it was a pretty good chess move because in in a world where he's not, you kind of have Bill Dow versus Merck, and maybe you feel a little bit differently about that matchup. But I think you feel good about the fives of Illinois defending Bill Dow in this basketball game. Were you surprised not to see Big Z play more in this game? In a game where I thought that defensive issues were a concern, and Bill Dow and Daly were kind of having their way with this team. Were you surprised to see Big Z not play more minutes in this game, or did that kind of fit what you saw? Just because I'm talking from a defensive standpoint.
Yeah, they could have gone there. I think that's a fair gripe post game. I got in real time. I didn't feel that way at all, but I think looking at the box after, it's like I'm a little surprised they didn't do more too big.
Hmm.
But
I thought they
I
could.
don't know.
Thought they could
It would
have.
have been a counter, right? Like Cronin going so small. Man, if you would have told me pregame they're going to start Bilodeau at the 5, I would have felt even stronger about my pregame take that this is an Illinois blowout.
Hmm.
Let's just get every rebound. Like, right? Why? If they're going to go Bilodeau daily at the 4 and the 5, this is already a terrible rebounding team. Let's just go get every rebound. Like,
Yeah.
that should have happened in this game. And look, it kind of did happen in this game. Illinois got 20.
Yeah, they had 20 offensive rebounds.
They had 20 offensive boards and like more offensive rebounds than UCLA had defensive rebounds. So it's one of those things like I don't even want to say that worked. If anything, like the only thing I noticed from UCLA going small, it got Daly on Merck a little bit. And I don't
Hmm.
know if that ended up leading to Merck's bad night or what, but that's a good segue. Daly was awesome. Leading scorer in this game, only guy on the floor for either team that hit 20. He had 20 points on 8 for 13 from the floor, 6 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals. He fouled out in 29 minutes. That was the only problem. He ended up checking out in overtime. But Daly's an interesting guy. I remember when we were doing the preseason all Big Ten, like top 50 players countdown we didn't know where to place Daly. Felt like you could make an argument he could end up top 10 in the league and have a breakout season. It also felt like you could have left him in the 40s and this is just who he is. He's a good role player, nothing more. For most of the season, I think he's been a good role player. He's had some really
Hmm.
quiet nights against both Michigan and Michigan State. This is his first 20-point game of the entire season. So the breakout season didn't come, but why was he so successful in this game?
Well, I thought they put him in a lot of really good positions. I thought that he worked really well as a ball screener with Donovan Dent. That worked out really well, and it was kind of like playing in that drop coverage. It was basically in a Visage kind of, or whoever was guarding Dale in that situation, closing out to them on a spot where he could either drive past you or could shoot it. Daly's going to be a tough check when he's making 3 or 6 from three. Right? Like that I think that's what makes him a tough check because he is able to get you out on him, make you guard him, and then if you guard him, he has the quickness and athleticism to drive past you. I mean, I think the first bucket of this UCLA game was a Eric Daly pump fake as Big T ran at him and he just drove past him for a layup. I just think that he's a talented guy who does a little bit of everything, and I thought he was good on the glass in this game. I also just thought that when he's hitting threes, it makes it a tough check. Whereas, I mean, you look on the other side, we say the same thing about Merck. Like Merck's a tough check when he's making threes. Merck wasn't making anything in this basketball game, where on the other side, Eric Daly was.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that would be a fair gripe, I think, from an Illinois perspective. Daly goes 3 for 6 from three when he's a 26% shooter in conference play right now from three, 29% on the season. Now, again, 38% shooter on pretty good volume last year, so I don't know how much you can really complain. I think Daly is a good shooter. He shoots threes every game, but I don't know. That would be maybe the one thing you'd circle. Like Daly had a 20-point night for the first time all year against us. That's annoying. But also, I look at the Illinois front court. I don't think they had anybody who could guard him. And this
Yeah.
kind of comes back to what I was saying with even with Dent. I think quickness can kill this team. at any particular position, but Daly's an athlete who can move really well for his 6'8", 230 size. Who on Illinois can handle that? Merck couldn't, clearly.
Hmm.
Neither of the bigs, the centers, can. You just kind of dare guys to shoot over you, but if they have to scramble to the perimeter, they can't do anything with it. So I don't know, maybe like how many teams are going to go small like this and have this many shooters mixed with a point guard as good as Dent that's spraying out to them? Like this felt like a pretty unique personnel challenge for the Illinois defense, but it's at least something like in the NCAA tournament I'd be worried about teams replicating, you know?
Yeah, 100%. I think that you could see what UCLA was able to do against this Illinois. And here's what it is for me, and it feels harsh to say because I still really do like this Illinois team. I still think that they could, they could win a national title. I still feel that way. I think that they have the tools and things as such to do those. But it really is a tough team profile when you don't really force stops. Like it's not what you do. You don't get stops and you don't get stops and also like teams are just comfortable against you. And I think that it it puts a lot of pressure on the other team to make shots and kind of go one on one with you basically and try to outscore you. But it's possible on a night for that to be done. UCLA did that in this basketball game. To your point, like they weren't as bad as you thought offensively, like 1.3 points per possession, I think you said. But they were still able to be outdone in this basketball game because I think that teams like UCLA or just teams in general, you can just get comfortable if you're able to knock down shots. And that's what they did.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. I got a bunch of shit last week already for like flip-flopping on Illinois. They were my national runner-up pick to Arizona for 2 months. I've had them Final Four most of the season. I think maybe a week ago, whenever we did our most recent Final Four update, I took them out. Um, History just tells us this exact archetype doesn't win it all. Like 25 years of this team doesn't win it all. The number one offense and the number 30 defense does not win it all. It's
Yeah.
it's the team I fall in love with every single year. Like by year, we can literally go back through like shit. Let's do this right now. I'm gonna find the most elite team with like the 30th defense. Last year it would have been Alabama. Fourth best offense, 28th best defense. I really liked that Mark Sears Alabama team. I wanted to keep talking myself into it. Didn't happen. Year before it was Illinois, coincidentally. Now it was worse. The third best offense, but 80th best defense. Um, that was the Terrence Shannon team that went to an Elite Eight, and
Mhm.
I picked them to the national title game. History tells us the offense and the iffy defense is not the team. I don't know. I don't know. And there's more examples of this. I won't waste your time going through more. But like every year I fall for this. This was like the Luka Garza Iowa teams that I picked to win it all. It's when you're the best offense in the sport and you're an okay defense, it doesn't work. It never works. And the ominous part for Illinois right now is this. It's trending in the wrong direction. Like
Mm.
there was sort of this defensive discovery in January that gave us hope the defense was going to keep improving incrementally. We gave Cam Crocker a bunch of credit for it. And it was like, wow, they found something that works. In this 5 game stretch where they're 2-3 outright, they're 59th defensively per Torvik.
Right.
Now, don't get me wrong, still the number one offense. Even in this 5 game losing streak, that's how elite the Illinois offense is. It is still number one. But the defense is getting exposed right now. And look, you lost 3 coin flip games. Brad said something similar after. Like all 3 of these games could have been wins. All 3 of them went to overtime, but all 3 of them involved the defense getting picked apart for big stretches.
Right.
And I think the reality is if that's who you are, like if you just are a defense that good offenses can go on a 10-minute blitz you run against, you have no margin for error. That's why you fall short in March. Great offenses miss shots all the time.
Hmm.
At some point in a 6 game stretch, this elite offense is going to miss shots. And I guess the question is the defense good enough to bail you out when that happens? I think we've learned in the last month the answer is no. Like you should not be capable of blowing a 23-point lead to UCLA. You should not be capable of blowing what they lead Wisconsin by 12.
Something like that, yeah. 12
They
in the
led
second half.
71 to 59 with 8 minutes left
Right.
against Wisconsin. They led Michigan State by 9 in the second half. Card's a Michigan State team that struggles offensively.
Yeah.
And you just down the stretch of all 3 of those games, you did not get stopped. So I don't know. I pretty clearly to me, I'm out on the formula of it at this point. I still love this team. I think they can make a run, but the idea of like this team can win a national title, I don't know that I would say that with how this defense works.
Yeah, it's just eventually you got to be able to get some stops. And I'm not saying they can't, like they can find a way to get stops, but like I said, it's just as I was watching this game, it was just UCLA just kind of, all right, let's set this ball screen here. Donovan Dent's going to go downhill against drop coverage. And you know what? Maybe he'll throw it back to Billidow or throw it back to Daly. And Daly and Billidow were just absolutely torching Big T whenever Big T was on the court. I really noticed him getting absolutely worked defensively in this basketball game. He
Yeah.
just he wasn't quick enough. He wasn't fast enough. He doesn't provide rim protection. And he played like 33 minutes in this basketball game.
Yeah. Right. And look, I think in the first couple losses, you could excuse them by being like, well, we're not healthy, right? Kylan is either playing hurt or he's out. Stoyakovic isn't here for the Wisconsin game. Like, there were pretty easy things to point to. We just got to get healthy. You got those guys back, and they didn't help you in this game defensively at all. So I don't know. I have to process it still. They're definitely a Final Four caliber team. I don't think it's crazy to say they could win a title, but I'm just begging everyone to acknowledge that this is the archetype that fails. It's the exact profile of teams every year we fall in love with that just doesn't get it done. And at this point, I don't think we should be surprised when games like this happen anymore. At the same time, like you can't be surprised if this team scores 120 against anyone. Like they might run Michigan out of the gym with an unstoppable offense that's really fun to watch. Quickly, last couple guys on UCLA, Trent Perry played all 45 minutes in this game. Dent's 15 assists are going to be the story, but Perry finished with 17, 4, and 4 with 0 turnovers in his own right. He has
Mhm.
really emerged into a nice Big Ten player, and I kind of wonder what it looks like when Dent leaves next year.
Yeah, and obviously, I think you never know in today's day and age what it'll look like if Perry will even be at UCLA next year. Just seeing how stuff plays out, with Mick Cronin and whatnot. But he was McDonald's All-American kid coming out of high school. So he's a kid who's definitely talented. I was a big fan of his when he was committed to USC. So I'm not surprised by it at all. I thought that he was really good in this basketball game, and it was him and Xavier Booker that really kept UCLA in it in the first half, and then second half was all Bill it out and Daly. I mean, Daly had 14 and 3 in the second half alone. Bill Dow had 13 and 2 in the second half. Those guys combined to miss 4 shots from the field, 4 shots overall. Like they got whatever they wanted.
Yeah. Perry is just really good. I'm excited to see whatever happens. He's not an NBA guy, so like there's going to be 2 more good college seasons of Trent Perry somewhere, whether at UCLA or somewhere else. He isn't he a hometown kid from
Yeah,
around
he's
the
from
LA
Cali.
area?
He's from Cali.
So I'd kind of get the feel he's going to stay. Maybe I'm wrong on that. Maybe he's just sick of mixed shit. But if he stays, I think he's got like an all conference season coming in the future at UCLA or elsewhere. Booker, that's your old guy. Very rarely ever seen Xavier Booker be this effective in a game. He had 24 and 5 against Rutgers 5 games ago. He
Mhm.
has not been in double figures against a Big Ten opponent any other game this season. How do you have 16 on 8 shot attempts against Illinois?
Well, so when you're practicing, usually it's against like managers and air and things like that. Booker can be special. He can be. None of his shots were hard. And I'm not even trying to take away credit from Xavier Booker here, but I think that you are giving a guy that has shown the ability to shoot this year, from 3-point range. Like he's been a guy that has shown the ability to knock it down, and he was able to get a couple there, a couple easy pick and rolls. Dent throw it up to him. Xavier Booker go dunk it unimpeded. I just thought that he took what was given to him in this basketball game, and to be honest with you, he saw food defensively when it was Big T coming out of drop coverage against him. And it
Yeah.
was very, really, really easy.
Yeah. The idea that Xavier Booker can be a mismatch for Illinois' front court defensively is such a problem. He's not supposed to be this level of a threat. And he's not this level of a threat to any other good team. But because of the front court you've built and what they are defense, he just is. They're going to struggle with
Well, I
this.
mean, this is every front court player that played in this basketball game. Daly had 20 and 6. Billy Dow had 18 and 4, and Xavier Booker had 16 and 4.
Right. Right. So I don't know. It's weird because I thought Illinois did a pretty good job with Nolan Winter, who's a similar archetype when they play Wisconsin. Winter had 4 points on 8 shot attempts. Um, I guess this can just kind of happen. I will say, in that game, Austin Rapp popped off and had 18 points. So it feels like someone in the front court that can shoot is always taking advantage of the Ivisiches at this point. I mean, Kohler busted
Because
their
they
ass in the
because
Michigan
they
State game.
drop they it's because they drop so far. Especially like when Dent coming off, like in their head, Big T and those guys know that a guy as fast as Dent is coming off that. So like you are probably staying for a second longer off the drop as well, just kind of just making sure you don't let Dent get all the way to the basket. And I thought that UCLA's bigs did an incredible job in just kind of playing that pick and pop. And also when they did go like a little bit of zone or like a little bit of something like zone-ish principles or anything like that, I thought UCLA did a great job just kind of popping to the elbow and Bill Dow would just like pull up from the elbow or pull up from that little short corner spot pretty
Yeah.
easily.
Yeah. It's just a good game from UCLA. I'll be curious what happens in future games because this is the first game Booker hasn't started since January. He's only had 3 games he hasn't started this year. It's been in and out of the lineup. So I don't know if that's motivational. Mick has flirted with lineup changes publicly for a month or if it was matchup dependent or what. Either way, Xavier Booker responding to being benched and spitting out 16 and 4 against a top 5 Ken Pom team. It's
Mm.
not exactly something that was on the scout. So got to give him credit. Got to give Mick Cronin credit, I guess, for getting this out of him. And um, I don't want to say it's a sign of things to come because history tells us it's not. History tells us this happens once every month max, but got to be frustrating for Illinois that that's exactly what happened. And nobody else on the UCLA team did anything. They really leaned into their top 6. So in an overtime game, you had Daly and Sky Clark foul out, and you still gut out a victory in overtime. It's a hard pill to swallow, I would think. Speaking of Sky, Illinois revenge game. Did you notice anything from Sky at all that mattered to you in this game?
I thought he had some really good moments in the first half when they needed him to kind of keep him in it once Keaton went out. I thought that he kind of sparked a little bit of a run somewhat in that area in the first half. Nothing really outside of that. I feel like he's in his heart of hearts, so he feels good about getting that one. In the game, I thought he contributed pretty well, even though it was foul ridden. I thought he was good in his 26 minutes.
In a lot of ways, this game and him being the 6th name from UCLA that we talk about is a pretty awesome sign of maturation and growth from this kid, right?
Hmm.
Against the program he started his career with that he quit mid-season from, that kind of the narrative, I think rightfully so, sort of became, well, this kid's selfish, this kid wants the ball, this kid's a team quitter, all these things. And now he's a senior who guards the opposing team's best player and doesn't really ever need the basketball, but makes the most of his little role player moments every game. This is not what I envisioned Sky Clark's career becoming, but in a head-to-head win over Illinois for him to essentially be a perfect glue guy, role player, defensive pass, like I think he deserves credit for that, you know?
Yeah, 100%. I just think that, whether it was Clark or like you said, Trent Perry, one of the underrated parts of Trent Perry's night is I thought he did a great job when he was on Wagler in this game too, by the way, defensively. I thought he did some really good things. So, yeah, no, I just think that in that spot you want to be able to, I don't know how I'm trying to put this. I feel like you want to be able to just kind of play your role, right? It's like we always talk about how like a team where Sky Clark is like the best player is going to look like Louisville, but a team where Sky Clark can contribute and just be a part of just an addition to whatever that's going on with the basketball team, I think you find yourself in a spot where you're able to get a win.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he willingly takes a back seat to Dent and Perry at this point. And I don't think that was ever envisionable as an outcome given the way everything went down when he was a freshman. And I look, there was family health stuff going on. Like Sky had other reasons for bouncing around. I don't want to paint him as a terrible character kid, but there's been
Mhm.
a lot of maturation here in a basketball sense that I don't think anyone ever saw coming. And it was kind of fitting for him to have this consummate, unselfish performance against his former program.
Yeah,
Okay, to the
had to
Illinois
feel
side.
good.
What was that?
Said it had to feel good for him.
Yeah, for sure. Shout out Sky. That was our guy years ago and still is our guy. Okay. Illinois. Let's start with the most glaring thing from this game for me. Where the hell was Merck? He played 25 minutes that I think are fair to characterize as where was he when he was on the
Mhm.
court? And then quite literally in overtime and down the stretch of this game, where was he? Is a fair question. He did not check in for Illinois in overtime. He played 25 minutes, had 4 fouls. He did not foul out of this game. I had a couple Illinois fans tweeting at me saying he fouled out. He did not foul out. He was available, and Brad Underwood didn't play him 1 second of overtime. I think it's understandable why he didn't play. He was a disaster in the 25 minutes he was on the court. But yet, I find myself in a Big Ten race that is all but finalized at this point. I can't really believe we're not going back to him in overtime of a must win game, given the alternatives here. He's just like, I understand he was struggling. He's also just a flat out better player than some of the things you were trying to turn to that, yes, Rickhouse had a great game. He hit 5 threes, but I don't know, man. Like if the answer when Merck struggles is going to be let's give up, go away from Merck, I don't think they've got answers. Like to me, I would hope the answer is let's get him out of this struggle in the middle of a game and get him going somehow. They clearly didn't figure it out within this game. He goes 1 for 7 from the floor, 0 for 4 from three, 3 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 turnovers, 4 fouls in 25 minutes. But you've been all over the place on Merck at various points this year. What happened to him in this game?
I mean, as I was watching, I thought it was just a shift to like the fact that Ben Henriquez was making threes is probably why he was in the basketball game. He was 5 for 10, but I was surprised they didn't go back to Merck maybe to start overtime at least, like at least to give him a chance. Now, I can also put myself in the shoes of Brad Underwood and say he was terrible in this basketball game. Like he was just really bad. The shots were off. The shot selection wasn't the best in my opinion. Um, but I was surprised that in overtime there, Merck was not in the basketball game, to be honest with you. But I just chalk it up to Ben Henrik. I was having such a good game,
Yeah,
at
I mean
least shooting
Ben
wise.
Ben earned additional minutes the same way Merck earned the bench. I'm not
Hmm.
here to argue that. Ben had a great game, but I don't know. I would think that going to overtime is just a little bit of a reset here of like, okay, now it's like gut check time. Are we going to rock with our guys that got us here or are we not? And
Yeah.
it definitely was a decision here. Like he didn't play 1 minute of overtime. As
Mhm.
Eric Daly fouled out, by the way. Like I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe my eyes. I did tweet hashtag free Merc, and I'm gonna continue to tweet hashtag free Merc. You cannot go away from a guy that special even if he struggles just because he struggles. You can't do it unless you have a better answer than this. And I think it's crazy. Illinois fans will disagree with me, but Illinois fans like to turn on their own more than any fan base I've ever met in my life. So I don't get it. I can tell you this: there are a bunch of people digging up numbers in Illinois' 4 losses in Big Ten play. Merck's offensive rating is this. Yeah, you got to figure that out. Got to figure that out. Like 100% got to figure that out. Merck's bad games have been Illinois' bad games. If the answer when Merck is bad is just quit on Merck, you're going to lose the game. You've got to find ways to get this guy who in 13 of your Big Ten games this year has been awesome to find some answers on the fly and get him out of it. He's a better player than this. Brad couldn't. Merck also couldn't. I don't know who it's on. It's on Merck more than anybody for sure. But I'm frustrated with it as a Merck fan because he's better than this, and I kind of can't believe he didn't get a shot to impact things late, even though he struggled. It felt like Brad was just, you know what, screw this when he committed the foul before half.
Mm.
Right? It goes from 10 to 7 because of a really, really stupid Merck foul. So in that sense, like, I get it. That was really stupid. But I don't know. If you're Brad Underwood, do this? Do you defend Brad's decision here, or would you have gone back to him?
Um, I mean, I feel like I'm playing both sides here, but at the same time, it's just like Merck was really bad, but the fact that he wasn't on the floor in overtime, I don't know. I'm always an advocate. I guess if I put it in my own, even if let's say Fears is having an awful game or something like that, I would expect for him to be in when it's winning, like in an overtime setting. I wouldn't expect for him to stay benched. Um, Especially the fact that you went into overtime and you're 2 of 9 from the field, you're 0 of 5 from three. Like you didn't execute whatever offensively in that portion. And I thought that it hurt you.
Well, and I don't know, man. I think he's a more dynamic player than just like, oh, he's missing shots, get him out. Right? He was missing shots, and I agree he took some quick ones in this game I didn't love. But like he finished with 4 assists in 25 minutes. Like that's good. He had 5 rebounds. He probably, if he plays his normal minutes, he ends up with like 8 rebounds and 6 assists. And you just went away from it for more shooting, and Ben made his shots. That's good. But like, I don't know. Like to me, the guys you can take out when they're missing shots are like Davis, Humrickhouse, Andre to an extent, Kylan. If Big T's cold from three, then swap him for Big Z, whatever. You can't take out Keaton or Mert when they have bad shooting nights. Like those guys are just that's the identity of this team. It's like all the special secondary playmaking stuff Merck does. If you just go away from that, you lose a huge part of what makes this team special. And I thought the entire second half, the entire overtime, obviously, you were playing without that. You handicapped yourself. And if Merck, he needs to be better. He earned a benching. I still would have gone back to him at a certain point. So I don't know. I don't know what you do with it, man. He also like has had moments this year where he's great defensively. Like remember
Hmm.
he shut down Martinelli. I thought he was pretty good when he was a Ken Palm MVP against Indiana on DeVries for much of that game. Like
Hmm.
I don't know. It's just like was part of this just Daly was popping off and you didn't trust him there too?
Yeah, I mean he was getting, but it was the whole Illinois front court as a whole. They were getting the business in this basketball game, but um, I don't know. To your point, I think that when you have a player like Merck, and I know you and I feel like I've come around on Merck a good portion, but you've always been a Merck truther in every sense. He does do things that when he isn't shooting well can still help you on the basketball end of the floor. And typically it is defensively. I don't think this was his best defensive showing. Maybe if he was a little bit more better defensively, he would have got more of a shot in this basketball game. But Also, your team's not good defensively.
Right.
Like, what are we really like holding the people at this high defensive standard when you guys aren't good defensively?
Right. I mean, I really think it was the halftime foul that was kind of just, you know what, doghouse tonight. And we know Merck and Brad love each other. Merck's going to send a text to Brad at midnight after this apologizing. Brad's going to love Merck and play him 40 minutes next game. There's not going to be an issue here. But the issue is you lost this game and Merck didn't play in overtime.
Right.
That's the issue. So,
Hmm.
like, you just can't, I don't think you can quit on a kid this good. Even if he's struggling. You got to get him to next play mentality, play better. And you kind of said like you've come around on Merck. You've had to. Everybody's had to. He's been in double figures 14 straight games before this. Like
Yeah.
he's left no choice. He's going to be an all Big Ten player. And I just kind of thought he was near the Keaton level of like those are our guys. This is our team. We're going to ride and die with them. And they chose not to ride and die with him. Maybe they died because of him when he was on the court. They certainly died without him in overtime to me. Outside of Merck, Keaton, 19 points, 15 shots to get there, 1 for 6 from three. He had 6 offensive rebounds in this game, which is crazy. He had 6 assists. The putback at the end of regulation to get this to overtime was extremely well, or no, that was in overtime, right?
No, no, no. The putback was in overtime to go up one.
It should have been the game-winning putback from Keaton, just very timely and clutch and cerebral, like all things Keaton Wagler. Cardi had 2 blocks and a steal for all those NBA draft stocks watchers here. Like the only bad thing that happened to Keaton here was the pregame rim grazing dunk video where someone tweeted that he actually can dunk. Nobody ever shared that again. But
That it didn't need to be out there.
with the shoulder stinger happening too, how do you assess this Keaton performance?
Um, I mean, I think that obviously Keaton has been incredible. Obviously, where there's no need to kind of sing his praises anymore. He's one of the best players in the country. Going to be a top draft pick. Everything associated with that. It, I think that as of late, now he did have the Wisconsin game where he bounced back, right, and had 34-7 in that game. He was good against Indiana even in his 30. I'm not saying he's having bad performances. I do think that there has been a little bit of shooting regression that has occurred over the last 5 games as a total. Like starting with the Michigan State game, and it's I'm trying not to do the thing where I go too far here, but I think it has coincided with a little bit more physicality and also just maybe the season wearing on Keaton a little bit that I think his shooting percentages have taken a little bit of a dip here. It also could just be a freshman wall type situation, but 2 of 16 against Michigan State, had good shooting performances overall, from the field at least against Wisconsin and Indiana. But like this is a guy who has been incredible from 3-point range, and outside of that 5 for 10 showing against Wisconsin, like 1 for 6 against UCLA, 0 for 1 against USC, 1 for 4 against Indiana, 2 for 8 against Michigan State. He's just been struggling a little bit
Yeah,
shooting wise.
he hasn't had a Ken Pom MVP since Nebraska on February 1st. 6 straight games. That feels weird for the guy who has largely been the best player in the conference. Um,
Mm.
he's 9 for 29 in that 5 game sample you're talking about from three. That's 31%. And that includes a 5 for 10 game against Wisconsin. You take that out, he is 4 for 19 in 4 of his last 5 games. Is definitely different. Um, he's still awesome. Like he's still been in double figures in all these games and impacting games through his passing, through rebounding in this one. You're not going to find a Keaton Wagler game where he's not impacting winning in a million different ways. But he's just a different guy if he's shooting mid 30s from three versus 50% from three. And he had
Yeah.
a full month of conference play. He was shooting 50% from three.
Well, it goes from this like, oh, this kid's awesome. He's amazing. When he's doing what he was doing before, like with the percentages wise, like, well, this kid's the national player of the year. Like if it wasn't for Cam Boozer, this kid would be one of the best like national player of the year level worthy. I think he was second odds at a certain point for the award. But I think his shooting percentages have taken a little bit of a hit here lately, which just speaks to also how good he is. 'Cause he's still gonna get you that minimum. He's gonna get you that baseline of 15, 5, and 5. It's just how it comes, how good it is, and what the percentages look like.
Do you attribute this more to just variation? Like for a guy that's shooting 42% from three on the season, there's going to be a month where you go 50, a month where you go 35. Like that happens, that's shooting. That's
Mm.
one bucket. The other bucket is season long fatigue,
Hmm.
right? That like as if this was NCAA basketball 26 and the season long stamina meter is slowly dwindling down. He's playing 40 minutes most nights. He's getting beat up. He's taking the locker room in this game. He's doing more than any player in this conference is asked to do on a night to night basis. I could buy the art. Like, it's not a freshman wall because he's way too good for a freshman wall, but like, there's a world this is just who he is the rest of the year and he's lost his legs a little bit. Which one do you think is more likely?
Um, I think it is a little bit of like a wearing on him a little bit. I think there is a little bit of, he's such a high usage, ask him to do everything guy. It's one of the it's one of the things I've had myself taking a step back and do I have two things pulling at me. I want the ball in Keaton's hands 40 out of 40 minutes of a basketball game, no matter what's happening. So also I'm taking a step back and being like, you know what, having these offensive weapons, having this mismatch hunting ability, maybe the ball needs to be in other guys' hands a little bit more at a certain point to give your guy a break. Just because I want this guy to be at his best um, come March. Also, I want him to feel as fresh as possible come March as well. And I think teams too are watching these games and being like, yo, they're just gonna give it to Keaton for 40 minutes out of this basketball game. He's gonna get his. Go make him feel you for 40 minutes though.
Yeah.
Go make him feel your presence there. And I think other teams are starting to take notice of that a little bit.
You talked about it back in the Wisconsin game. They were like picking him up full court with Carrington and Boyd, and just it felt like that set a pretty good formula for like what do teams need to do to get to Keaton a little bit.
Hmm.
I mean, look, Michigan's going to come to Champaign Friday. I'm going to be there. I'll be shocked if they don't spend a lot of this game with Yaxel picking him up full court and just
Yeah, either Yaxel or even Kaysen. I feel like a guy who just go be in his hip pocket when he gets it up. Like don't let him just walk it up.
yeah, Roddy Gale too. Like Michigan's got a bunch of bodies they need to do that with. So I don't know. Still a really good game. I think also fair to say not enough. Man, and that might sound crazy, but like I don't know. You had a 20-point lead, you check out, you come back in, you have a 7-point lead at halftime. If you're the Big Ten player of the year, win this game.
Yeah.
Simple as that. Win
And
this
and
game.
and question for you too, even with all the talking points that we've had too, doesn't it too feel like Keaton's just missing shots?
Yeah.
Like I don't think his looks are any different than looks he's taken all year.
No.
He's just not hitting them.
No. And he had some clutch stuff late. But I was sending a group text in to a bunch of our basketball friends in overtime. When these games have gotten to overtime, he kind of just disappears.
Hmm.
And I like he had the clutch bucket late that should have been a game winner, but like the season long scoring dominant stuff has not really been there in the overtimes of these games, whether that's fatigue or what, I don't know. But something to watch. We'll see. Hopefully not too many more overtime games for Illinois. I thought this was a good Kylan game, 13-6-5. Anything to add there? I mean, that's just kind of who he is to me. I thought he picked his spots nicely. He did not contribute to anything overly negative here for me.
I just I'm trying to quantify the fact that we have such this great point of attack on ball defender while also a lot of games coming in the fashion that we can't stop set ball handler defender guy. Like how does Donovan Dent at 15 and 15 in this game with no turnovers and is comfortable the whole time, just kind of driving to the basket and doing whatever he wants?
Yeah, I don't know. The whole scheme.
If you just set a screen on this Illinois team and let your ball handler do what he wants and make the right decision, then he can have a massive game.
Right. Yeah, I don't, it seems like the Illinois staff's defensive scheme has gone away from what Kylan's good at, which for the majority of the season worked, and Kylan was hurt, right? So I don't know, but I it's a weird mix of like you've got this guy you really believe in as a point of attack ball pressure guard being asked to like not pressure the ball ever.
Yeah.
Like you literally don't want to foul and you don't want to force turnovers at all. That's the whole scheme. It's weird. So I don't know. It does feel like they're not using him. At the same time, we've picked out a lot of Kylan defensive performances this game or this season that have felt weird, and he's just not playing to the level he can as a defender. Felt like
Mm.
one of those to me in this one. So I'm kind of at the point I just kind of want to walk back some of the Kylan defensive praise that we've thrown out there in the past.
They're just not asking them to do anything really. Like they're really not asking them to be a nuisance or a pet. It's kind of just, you know, they die on the ball screen, it's drop coverage, and you're gonna have a pretty good look or offensive option here, go make the play. And if teams make it, then it's pretty easy.
I kind of wonder if that's like, yeah, well, they're just not asking Andre to pass. Like maybe they're not asking it because he's not as good at it as he was supposed to be, you know?
Yeah, that could be it.
Maybe. I don't know. The shooters were great. Davis and Henriquez combined for 8 for 18 from three. Ben got all the crunch time minutes, largely because he hit 5 threes in this game. 5 rebounds, an assist, a block to go with it. This was a really, really, really good Ben game. Also thought it was a good Jake Davis game, though. 3 for 8 from three, 4 rebounds. And I was, even along the lines of who's on the court with the Merck conversation, I was surprised it was Henriquez and not Davis at points late in this game, too. But I guess it was just hot hand. So I don't know. Any thoughts? I thought the shooters did everything they could to win this game. Honestly, they got an A plus for me in their roles.
Yeah, they just weren't able to get stops, really what it was. I- I'm starting to have a moment here though. I feel like we did a video yesterday and you're like, this isn't Brad's fault. But as we're talking to this, does this kind of feel like Brad's fault with who was on the floor a lot of this basketball game?
Um, I still wouldn't go there. I mean,
Okay.
I didn't like who he chose on the floor, but these guys had everything needed to win the game still.
And
I
they
mean,
just couldn't
like
get it
even the
done.
guys he had on the floor hit 8 threes. Like, you know,
You just get a stop. Just win the game.
just get a stop is a
You're up 23. Just win.
good thought. Andre Stoyakovic, speaking of get a stop, 8 points, 1 for 5 from the floor, 0 for 3 from three, 6 for 9 from the free throw line, 3 rebounds, which, if my math is correct, is the lowest any Illinois player had in this game. Yep. One
Hmm.
assist to 2 turnovers, and notably still off the bench. They are not going back to Andre in the starting lineup. This was not a one game thing. This is now what Brad is doing. We're starting Jake Davis and we're not starting Andre. I made a big deal about this in the USC recap because I think this is a big thing. They basically benched Andre Stoyakovic, and like he's still playing huge minutes. So, but his role has changed, Cart. And I think this is a kid who cares about role. And he's gone from like focal point centerpiece to like, no, you're our sixth man. Deal with it. And he didn't give them anything good in this game. So look, I'm not asking for it to change. I've been a proponent of the non-Andre lineups from start to finish this season, but it's changed. They are not putting him back in the starting lineup at this point, and I wonder what that's doing behind the scenes here. He was a mess in this game.
Yeah. And one of the worst defensive possessions I think I've seen in a long time on that last Donovan Dent layup. Just, I mean, we could talk about that at a little bit more length once we get to it. But no, there's a certain basketball psyche level of things to certain players that play certain ways in their given situation. Like there's certain players you can throw to the bench and they'll be like, okay, yeah, like I'll that's fine. Like I'll do this role. I'll come off the bench and I'll still do the same exact things. But there's also some guys that they in their head they need to be like when starting lineups get called, they need to be called to play their best. They need to be put in certain roles to play their best. And Andre just a lot of what he does to me doesn't really constitute like I want to bring that guy off the bench to get things going. Or and maybe I'm looking at that wrong because he is a guy that is a really good ISO scorer, can show that. But one, I don't think he's fully right, to be honest with you. I think he is a little bit hindered from that ankle injury. And two, it's just, if he's not giving you the scoring, he's really not giving you anything else. We've talked about that a lot. Well, usually it gives you rebounding, but he didn't give you that in this basketball game. No rebounding, no passing, of course. And he didn't provide any floor spacing or shot making, and he was bad defensively.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if he's right or not right. Again, I think Illinois thought he was right 2 weeks ago. So from what I've heard, what we've heard, right? You can reinforce me on this. This is not just me making shit up while you were gone for a week. This is Illinois thought he should play. That's what we've been
Yeah.
told. So
Yeah.
I don't know, man. He was great against USC. So if you keep getting that version of Andre off the bench, then this is fine. Everyone's happy. He probably earns his way back into the starting lineup, but this was a mess. I thought he looked disengaged. I thought he gave terrible minutes, quite frankly. And man, I do go back to early preseason stuff when the roll pitch from a variety of spots here was, can he be a souped up Trey White? Feels like it's going the Trey White arc here.
Like he'll be at Kansas next year.
Doesn't it feel like it's got just by mid-February there was like mysterious departures and a
Hmm.
DNP, and then he like came back in the lineup and was productive, but it wasn't as good as it was early in the season. And then at season's end, when like you think he's going to come back, he just doesn't. That's where I think this is headed. And people will get mad at me for saying that out loud, but it's the portal era, man. Guys come and go all the time, and I don't love where this is at right now.
Yeah, the vibes are bad. I'll say even coming off that USC game. Also that USC game, it was USC. With all due respect, at the same time, I know we can have different conversations about what that is, but um, can we talk about that last defensive play?
Yeah, we need to. Okay, so Keaton gets the tip in. There is like 4 seconds left. Timeout. Both teams to their huddle.
Hmm.
UCLA has to
Full
go
time, full timeout, right?
full timeout, I believe.
Can I
Uh,
walk you through what the Illinois timeout win look like?
please.
All right, so I sorry because I know you're laying the situation out perfectly here, but this is what happened. Um, for the first 17 seconds of this, they had to reset because I think Tyler and the staff were drawing up an offensive play, and they realized that they needed to stop. And like, oh shit, we don't have the ball. Okay, wait. All right, let's fix it. All right, Cam, get in there. Don't. All right, guys, don't foul. A line 9 and 3. Like, what went down? I don't understand. I don't understand. Like, there's so much information available to you in today's day and age, and there's 4 seconds left, and Donovan Dent has the ball. What do you think he's going to try to do? If you lose on a Donovan Dent three or a jumper, fine. Whoop-de-doo. 4 second coast to coast layup for Donovan Dent? Unacceptable, man, truthfully. But also what Illinois did. They didn't foul. They didn't foul.
They executed their defensive strategy very well there. Yeah.
They did.
Um, I missed you. I missed you. It's great to have you back. That was special. Remember this happened a couple years ago too? Remember the Tennessee game where I forget who it was went coast to coast and beat him at the buzzer too?
Oh, who was it?
Was it? It wasn't Ziegler, was it?
Zeke. No, it was a Meshack.
Gainey, maybe? I can't remember.
Gainey. No, it was Gainey at Illinois. Yeah.
Yeah, we've seen this before, is the
Wait,
point.
wait, hold on a second. Wasn't that Trey White's fault?
No comment. Yeah, it was though. This is crazy. So, look, I Brad's getting eviscerated for this. Brad went to the podium after and said he took credit for or took responsibility, takes the blame for this. Good coach move. You should take the blame for it. Clearly, they didn't have a good plan. Why they decided to switch Kylan off of Dent so easily, I will never understand. That makes no sense to me. I think that's fair to criticize. And, it essentially got to a point where Dent had blown by two guards, and now Andre's the guy that needs to sort of get in his way. And if there is one thing I think the staff has misevaluated this year, in theory, it's the idea that Andre is an elite defender, right?
Mhm.
I guess if you're Illinois, if you think that Kylan and Andre and Keaton Size are all like really good perimeter defenders, then I guess it would make sense why you switch everything, right? Switch everything late and don't leave anybody wide open. And well, if Andre's on Dent, it's the same as if Kylan's on Dent. Not when he has a full head of steam and not when all five of your defenders are just like, oh, you're driving. Whoa, that's nice. Like,
Whoa, Dent go fast.
right. Like no one got in his way. No one got in his way. And for me, that is on the players more than it is on whatever the coaches told them to do. You think the coaches in the huddle were like, hey, let Dent drive through you?
Yeah, like
Like,
someone in that situation has to like something go off in their head, like maybe not let this like anybody too, like a guy who's helping off, go help
well, that's the thing
everyone.
is everyone's mad, like, oh, Kylan switched off him. Yeah, cool. That is something you should be upset about. Is anyone going to talk about the fact that Andre didn't stop ball? At that, like,
Yeah,
at a certain point, someone step over. There's 3 seconds on the clock. Just get in front of him. Someone get in front of him. It doesn't matter what the coaches told you to do. It doesn't matter what the scheme is. Basketball instincts have to kick in. Someone get in front of him. And Illinois had four different players have a chance on that play to do so, and all four of them just watched him go. And that is
it's
on the players, man. That is not on the coaching staff for that.
it's hilarious to watch it too because it literally is everyone. Like I watched that last play probably 50 times just to watch it from everyone else's angle. Like I because everyone I thought was atrocious in this. Like they switched when they really didn't even need to, but if they did need to, that's fine. Kylan, once they do switch, is kind of like jogging back to like see what's going on. He has a little reach in as it happens. Andre watches his man run to half court to set a screen, and I decides to do like some hard hedge ball coverage at half court where Donovan Dent just it's like, okay, well, dude, excuse me, I'm just gonna go ahead and switch to my right hand, go right real quick here. And then Big Z, you ever seen them machines that you can hire that are like 7 foot, they have their arms just straight in the air, you just put them at the hoop and you want guys to like go up and shoot over them, shoot a floater.
Yeah.
That's what Big Z's challenge looked like on the I know he's been getting a lot of shot blocking love and defensive player of the year love. That was a pretty abysmal effort, I think, to challenge that shot. Benham Rickhouse is actually just looking and praying that Donovan Dent misses it. No pun intended for his who he is, but it was a pretty 0 of 5 effort from everyone defensively in that moment to just not have the moment go off in your head that there's 4 seconds left. What do you think he's going to try to do?
Right.
Donovan Dent has not made a three in this basketball game. He's really not made that many pull-ups in this basketball game. There's 4 seconds left. He's going to try to get to the basket.
Well, in everyone's defense, the only thing I could really follow or buy as an excuse would be, well, this team made 11 threes. They're a great shooting team. We don't want to leave guys. Like Dent had 15 assists on the night. He's going to kick to a wide open shooter. Do we want to give up a wide open three once he gets downhill? Yeah, you have to give up a jumper over a layup if given the opportunity for game. So it's also a great play by Dent, who is probably the only guard in the country quick enough to go coast to coast in 3.5 seconds.
Mhm.
Right? Like if the previous play goes half a second longer, he can't even get all the way to the rim.
Well, but even in that moment too, like I don't know, I'm tapping in the don't let it's 4 seconds left. Can we not let a guy catch it on the run
Just somebody's got to stun him. If you stunt him at all, if you disrupt him at all. I mean, he
at
even went in the
all?
corner before the pass. He went in the corner. You could have just put two guys on him. Make them
Yeah.
inbound the ball to Trent Perry and the game is over.
Yes.
So yeah, horrible, horrible all around from the plan to the execution. I mean, give Dent credit. It was a great play. And I think, I don't know, maybe the end of regulation should have told you Dent was not giving that ball up, right? Dent
Mhm.
took the game winner in regulation that missed and just felt like one way or another you were going to live or die with a play from Donovan Dent there. But something that'll be a hard pill to swallow for Illinois for sure the remainder of the season. Where do you think vibes go from here? They have 5 days to prep for Michigan. Michigan has Minnesota on Tuesday. Thanks to the schedulers for that one, by the way. But if this goes the way we think it will, I mean, Michigan's coming to Champaign with a chance to clinch the outright title on Murez Johnson's return night, with a share of the Big Ten already clinched if they beat Minnesota. So this game has gone from like it's for the league to it's delaying the inevitable very quickly. I still think Illinois could blitz Michigan, but where do you think the locker room is at following a game like this?
I mean, I think vibes are definitely lower for Illinois than Michigan if we're doing that scenario. I think that you now have seemingly lost the league in a spot where you were maybe feeling good about how you were playing and how you were doing it, but then like obviously you just drop a fair amount of games in succession. It's kind of over at this point, but um yeah, I don't know. I think vibes are way worse in Illinois' locker room than they are in Michigan's, but also Illinois is at home too. So, and they want to be able to send a message beating the best of the best. So, yeah, I don't know. It's still a lot to play for. Still a lot of juice in that basketball game, but definitely less because you couldn't stop a layup.
That game's going to mean a lot, even if teams, this was for like sixth versus eighth place in the Big Ten. It's going to mean a
Hmm.
lot on a personal level to everybody there. But yeah, I don't know. It's just weird. Sometimes I wonder how psychologically teams that feel like they deserve to be in the title hunt until game 20, how do you process that when you're basically eliminated by game 17? Right?
Hmm.
I raised that point with Purdue. Like I wonder how they're going to respond. Purdue came out and beat the piss out of their rival. So to that extent, I don't know. I guess Illinois could respond and be great, but it's gonna be interesting to watch because this game has taken on a whole different connotation. Meanwhile, Andre's benched and Merck is now benched, and I don't know if the Aviciches know they lost this game. So
Yeah, I'm not sure they know that. Also, this has implications for me, Gregory.
why?
Well, because now that Illinois wants to do all this losing and whatnot, I'm looking at that 2 seed in the Big Ten.
Oh,
I
okay.
want it. I want it.
You want the 2 seed, huh?
I want the 2 seed.
Okay.
1 seed's gone. That's yours. I've conceded.
Does it really matter? Two versus three or anything? Yeah,
Uh,
is it just like you want to avoid the Michigan side of the bracket in the Big Ten tournament, or
no, 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 no. I want in my tool bag to be like I could have swore I heard a 3 seeded team talk loudly to me.
you
Well,
want bragging rights over Illinois and Purdue fans?
I don't like listening to teams under me. Teams over me, go ahead, let me have it. You're over me. I'll shut up, as a matter of fact. If you're under me, watch your mouth.
So the more teams under you, the better.
The
Yeah.
more teams under me, yes, the better.
All right, more power to you. Good luck on your endeavor down the stretch run. Illinois should be fun on Thursday. Hang in there.
I forgot.
Yeah, go ahead.
I didn't even get a chance to overreact this whole time. Can I do that?
Yeah, please.
This season is gonna end in pain for Illinois
How so?
because it's gonna end in this fashion. It's gonna look like this. It's gonna be a blown lead. It's gonna be a you can't get a stop. Why is that guy hitting shots? And you just don't have enough. And you lose a game 107 to 102 in double overtime.
Okay. Could be.
Let's just hope it's in the like Elite Eight or Final Four and not in earlier than that.
I mean, narratively, they've lost 3 of 5, all overtime losses, very frustrating losses. But like, is the thing happening? Is like the late season, this is kind of withering thing happening right now?
Uh,
It doesn't feel like that to me, but this was the first loss that makes me question that a little bit. There was no reason they should have lost this game. None.
yeah, this is actually I don't know.
They had a
I,
23-point lead with 30 minutes left.
yeah, no, I know. I was about to do the whole like do do national championship teams do this? Do Final Four teams do this?
No,
They don't, right?
not to a 20, no, a 23-point lead to Mick Cronin.
Yeah, that's fair.
I don't
Yeah,
know,
you
man.
just gotta find a way.
Look, the Michigan game is going to be big for a lot of different reasons. Truly, if you beat Michigan, then like, what are we worried about at all? There's no worry. We're fine. Everything's good. Cool. Those were overtime losses. That was fluky. If you lose to Michigan, now you've lost 4 of 6.
Hmm.
Lost 4 of 6 in late February
A lot
with
of
the
pressure on this one.
with the best offense ever.
Yeah, that's a tough one
There's a lot at stake now.
for sure.
All right.